Okay, maybe not. Hi,
Are
everybody.
we
How's
live?
everybody doing? You know what? Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. For
You
some
might
reason,
have to hit it again.
the countdown timer didn't start. Nope, it
Hit
didn't
it again.
start. Okay.
Uh-huh. Hit it again. It started and then it stopped. I'm on your
Okay.
page now, though. I don't see we're live. Let me
You know,
'cause
we are. I'm looking at us. Okay. So everybody, sorry about that. I thought I had hit the button for the countdown timer, but here we are.
I was gonna.
All right. Yeah, because I see it. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn my device off. Okay, ladies, how's everybody doing on this Sunday afternoon? Welcome to another episode of A Queen's Roundtable Show. And I am super excited. I have an awesome guest here with me today. And I'm going to, her name is Kim Bullock-Hennix. I am super excited to have her on the show today. I am going to, well, but I'm going to let her introduce herself. But before we get started, just want you to know I'm Jacqueline Kabah Harrison, and you have joined us for A Queen's Roundtable Show, which happens every Sunday now at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're interested in being a guest on the show, you are an entrepreneur, you have something to share in reference to personal, professional, or leadership development for women in business, apply to come on the show. I would love to have you as a guest. So, Kim, go ahead and introduce yourself to the ladies.
Well, greetings, Queen. I am so honored and excited. First and foremost, Queen Jacqueline, thank you for allowing me to grace your stage and platform with these beautiful women that are joining us today. I love Queen's Roundtable discussion. We're really going to get into some juiciness today. I am lifestyle and abundance coach Kim Bullock-Hennix. I specialize in abundant mindset expertise, royal protocol, spiritual teaching, right? Unleashing the queen within you. And then I'm also an award-winning best-selling author. I'm very proud to announce that this year. Just recently won various accolades for my book, The Birth of an Ambitious Woman. I'm so excited about that. And I'm the founder and advocate of the Ambitious Women Movement. I had to say that slow because ambitious, that's what queens are. We're very ambitious and we're here to reign supreme. So thank you once again.
Yes. Wow, that is awesome. Okay, so we tell us a little bit more about the book and tell us a little bit more about the movement.
Absolutely. Yes. I'm just really excited. I'm also a transformational speaker, and I love being able to share not only my personal journey with women, but to help them to really dig within and unapologetically show up for what God has put within them. We all have seeds of greatness that are planted within. And so my book, this is actually the first copy that launched, the hardback with all the glitter and bling. You see that? I'm a glitter girl. I love glitter bling. Okay. The cover, honey, is silk, feels so good. You don't even want to read it, you just want to hold it all day. But the book is powerful because it has 10 amazing chapters. And I'm not just saying that because I wrote it. It has 10 amazing chapters in it. And the first one is called Birth into Greatness, reminding you, Queen, that you have an incredible mission that God has called you to. And so Birth into Greatness, when you look at that acronym, it spells BIG. There's nothing small about you, Queen. You were made to be big and achieve big and to live big, right? So in the book, I talk about various things from spiritual warfare, balancing motherhood, marriage, and your mission, right? I also talk about the inner queen within you and how to embrace it and not dim your light because you're embarrassed that you have this beautiful, bright, shining light within you. It's your time now for you to shine brighter than you've ever shined before, because I found that in the darkness, that's when the light shines the brightest. And so I know this year has been very challenging for a lot of us. And this book has helped so many queens to identify their royal DNA that they were birthed within. And not only that, but each chapter ends with a powerful prayer for you with strategic words. Now, don't get me wrong, God hears all prayers. But it's something about the prayers of the righteous that availeth much, the strategic prayers, right? Because have you ever prayed for something before, Queen? And then you get it and you're like, God, that's not really what I wanted. Well, I found that's because we're not strategic enough. We're not specific enough in our prayers. And so this book teaches you how to pray strategically and specifically to dominate in your industry as a businesswoman, or just to embrace your inner queen personally as a woman of God and a woman that has, royal inheritance. You're joint heirs, as I say all the time, with Jesus Christ. And so I just firmly believe that's important to know, because how you show up in the world is going to dictate your future and your legacy. And so, yes, this book has been amazing. And like I said, I even talk about Queen Esther. There's a Queen Esther detox in the book, Queen Jacqueline. And mind, body, and soul, what it was for me, this book is a guide to spiritual awareness, mental abundance, and physical healing. Because what I found as an abundance coach, abundance is not just money. That's the first thing a lot of my clients will come to me and they'll say, teach me how I can manifest more money. I want to be more abundant financially. But if you're abundant financially and your health is deteriorating, you're still in lack. If you're abundant financially and your relationship with your children is falling apart, or your parents is falling apart, you're still in lack, right? So it touches on socially, right? Being abundant, physically being abundant, spiritually being abundant, right? Because what good is it to gain the world and lose your soul, right? So we have to make sure we align every morning and we give God his first. So that's what this book in a nutshell is all about. And thank you for allowing me the opportunity to share a little bit about it. Certainly, those of you who are interested, you can visit my website, KimBullock-Hennix.com. And the other thing I want to say real quick before I finish talking about the book is each chapter also has an assessment. So you can do the work. That's the coach in me. Doing the work, asking the question, going a little deeper. So you can really reflect and discover what areas do you need to change and improve.
Wow. So let me ask you this in reference to the book. So when you do one-on-one coaching, does the book go hand in hand with the coaching?
Absolutely. When I do, you say the individual coaching?
Yes.
Yeah. So I actually have a program that I'm launching. It's called, well, let me back up here. Most of my clients have the book already. My tribe, they go hard for me. I love all of them. You hear me? So when I was coaching first before the book, then I launched the book, I'd say about 98% of my clients bought the book. Maybe 100%, to be honest. I didn't really count most of them that I know. But yes, I would say it should be, definitely something that you invest in prior to coaching, because then you'll understand my coaching style a lot better.
All right. Okay. Wow, that is awesome. That is just I'm always awed by you.
Oh, I love you so much. You're so
I am,
sweet.
you're such a powerful spirit. And I say that because, sometimes people have a online persona,
Yes.
but when you actually speak with them, like maybe engage back and forth via email, or even meet them like during the interview, and you're sitting there like, oh my God, who is this person?
Right.
But
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So I
Yes.
really I appreciate you yourself actually lining up with what you preach. And I
Thank
guess
you.
the simple way to put that is just I feel like you practice what you preach, or preach what you practice. And so
Absolutely.
I really appreciate that. Especially in this online arena. I think it's, easy sometimes for people to create a persona that
Right.
is really a fake persona, so I really appreciate
Say
that.
it. Say it. Listen. Okay. You have the spirit of discernment, and you can feel, how they say real recognize real. And we do, and there's just no way around it. And I just found that to be yourself is the best way to be. I don't want to be a carbon copy of anyone else.
Yeah.
What you see is what you get. And so thank you for that. That meant a lot to me.
You're welcome. Well, you being the way you are means a lot to me,
Amen. Yes, indeed.
integrity, so I
Right.
appreciate that. So the movement. So tell us more about the movement. How did it start? How did it start? Like, how did you birth the movement? How did it come about?
The Ambitious Woman Movement. Oh my goodness. So in October of 2015, it It was when I finally surrendered. God had been calling me to coaching for years. Okay. And I was just like, no, my life isn't perfect. I'm not the one. Like, I was like Jonah in the belly of a whale rebelling. Do you hear me? I was running, and it wasn't until my life just really, truly started falling apart, I had to surrender, right? My health started deteriorating. That's how I can talk about having all of the areas fulfilled in abundance. And just, my relationships were a mess. It was just so much going on. And I was like, okay, God, I can't take no more. And he's like, well, now you get it, because you're trying to do it yourself. This is what I called you to do, and you're rebelling. You're not doing it. And so in October was when I finally said, all right, God knocked and I answered. That was what I put on my caption when I decided to be a coach. And during that time, my late husband, Walter Hennix, he was still living. And I remember going to him and I told him, I said, I said, babe, God's called me to be a coach. I keep having this dream. And every time I'd have the dream, it felt so real. Have you ever had one of them dreams where it just feels so real? And he showed me holding a microphone. And I'm on a stage literally speaking to a sea of thousands of women. And I promise you, I got chills. Like, I got chills now even thinking about it. I continually had this dream at least 5 or 6 times. And I told my husband about it. I was just like, I don't know what God is trying to tell me. The first time I had it, I was like, oh, okay, it's just a dream. But it kept happening, the same exact dream. So that's when I was like, okay, you want me to speak. But I didn't understand the magnitude of what he really wanted me to do. I knew I seen the sea of women and all that kind of stuff. So as I started the group, I said, all right, Lord, what do I name this group? And it was based on Queen Esther, the Proverbs 31 woman. But I understand everyone has different religious beliefs, and I respect that. I'm not here to impose my belief on anyone, but I call him God. All right. And many of my followers know that I'm a Christian leader and I'm a Christian, teacher. And so I stuck with ambitious women. I didn't want to add the Queen Esther part to it right away, because I wanted to use wisdom with attracting God's women. And so even though I teach the Proverbs 31 and I teach about Queen Esther, the role as a queen, there's a way that as women of God, we can still attract women without sounding so churchy or so pushy. And one thing, like you said, God said, your life will attract people. Be the testimony. Don't speak about the testimony. And so as I use my own life as an example, I was able to attract women such as yourself. And, you feel my generosity and my authenticity. And they want to know more. They're curious. And that's because these are the women that were in my tribe that God already picked out. Right. You know that saying, when the teacher is ready, the students will appear. So I opened up the Facebook group, and I promise you, as soon as I opened it up, ambitious women, and I talked about virtuous, we're going to be Proverbs women, we're going to work diligently. All these things I was talking about in the group, women just started sharing. And the group blew up. I promise, like in a month, I had maybe 3,000 women in 1 month. It was like, whoa, yeah, it was great. It scared me. I was growing so fast. And I'm like, okay. So then I started doing Facebook advertisements. And on Facebook, my Facebook page started really expanding and growing. And it was by quantum leaps. People were like, what is she doing? I'm like, what God told me to do. They didn't believe it. They're like, you got to be doing something. And I'm just like, I'm doing what God told me to do. And
this was in 2015.
Yes, it grew. It blew up in 30 days, 3,000 women.
Wow. So what? That's a true testimony. Because now I hear a little bit of feedback.
Okay, I'm gonna cut it. You can hear on your end. Oh, let me cut it down.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Can you hear it now?
No, I don't hear it now.
Okay.
So, a lot of times you see these ads, on Facebook, sign up for my class, I grew my group, just all of these different promises, and sometimes you're reading like, I don't really know, if they're really, kind of telling the truth, or they exaggerating, but this is like an actual testimony of someone who was being led and listened and obeyed. And, just hearing you say that within 30 days, like you said, people are like, what are you doing? What you do? No, you must,
yeah, they were like, what's she doing? She's suspect. Is she buying group followers? I'm like, how do you do that? I don't even know how to do. Show me. But then the engagement, the thing is, when people who do that, if it's even possible, I don't know. But you wouldn't have engagement in the group. And my group, my women are very active in my group, you know, and I love it. I
So
love it. So now I think we're almost at 6,000 women.
wow.
And that's because, you know, I'll be truthfully honest with you. If I really pushed and promoted the group, we probably would have been at 10 or 20,000 by now. You know, I had to take this year to heal. As you know, with the passing of my husband, I'm ready to work now. And so I see it actually growing and multiplying even larger. But, you know, when things happen in your life, you know, that wasn't my focus. So
So a couple of things I wanted to ask, and if you don't want to, just share as much as you're, comfortable sharing. If you could, tell us, what would you say was a major obstacle for you? Just in life in general, or your business, whatever you feel comfortable sharing. And what was the obstacle, and how did you not allow it to overcome you or to cause you to give up or become stagnant?
absolutely. Well, definitely the passing of my husband. That was the hardest blow ever. We didn't see it coming, you know. And so what ended up happening, my husband was not only my husband, but he was my business partner, you know, and we were building together. I mean, when you see him, you see me. When you see me, you see him. He was at all of my live events. He was my cameraman, my videographer, you know. He helped, matter of fact, he took this picture for my book. He did the cover, the front and the back. My husband, he took, that picture. I'm reversed. I'm pointing the wrong way there. He did my business card, everything that I needed. He was there for. And so we had plans. We were building and we were really just kind of figuring out, okay, we had the live events, and then I had the virtual coaching, and then the book launched, and we were planning the actual, my book coach, Joylyn Ross, doesn't like me to say book party. So I got to think book premiere. There we go. I think, what was the name she told me to call it? The book premiere, the birth of an ambitious woman. And then COVID hit. Right. So we had to pivot. And I'm just trying to figure out how to do this virtually. We did the online book premiere. And then that was March of 2020, making that major pivot, sold out of books, mind you, online. God is good. And then in August of 2020, my husband loses his life, right? Unexpectedly. We didn't see it. So how did I get past that? I'm going to tell you. Even now, I'm still not past it. That was a major blow for any woman. You know, when you lose a part of who you are, right? Now I'm a widow. Like, whoever would have thought at this point in your life, no one gets married to think about becoming a widow. We understand the vow says until death do us part. But we look at that when I said it as the commitment, not one day I'll be a widow. Right. So it really opened my eyes up. And now what it's done is, with the pivot, it's helped to open up a new ministry. Now I'm able to minister to widows, and I can speak from a different place. And I've turned my pain into purpose. And every day is a new day. And it's every day I just take one step at a time. And if I don't feel 100%, I recognize that and I own it. I'm not going to push myself to be something that I don't feel, because you will see that through me. Right. And I would definitely say prayer and meditation. That's one thing I thank God every day, that I am a huge advocate on prayer and meditation. Okay. And I teach my clients the power of prayer, and I'm a prayer warrior. And so my prayers have allowed me to get through this, because God has shown me that He's with me every step of the way.
Yes. Whew. How long were you guys married?
So we were married this is funny. So my husband and I, we were actually, he was my high school sweetheart. And then we ended up going our separate ways after high school. And then we reconnected on Facebook 20 years later. Wow. And I remember my husband telling me, he's like, I'm not letting you go ever again. He's like, I'm never losing, because he was upset the first time because I had moved away. My father was active duty military, and long distance relationship, for teenagers at that time in my life was very hard to stay in touch. You're young, and you just like only so much writing. We didn't have Facebook and cell phones and all that. What we got now, it's a little easier probably to have a long distance relationship than it was back in 91. You hear me? We didn't have all these extra technology. Listen, we was writing, girl, and all that stuff. And after 6 months, it was a wrap. It was like, okay, listen, But we reconnected. It was meant to be.
It's meant to be.
And that's what my husband told me. He was just like, I am not letting you go ever again. So he kept his promise. He didn't let me go till God called him.
Right.
So yeah, but this Friday was very emotional for me. It was the 1 year anniversary for my husband's death. And you would think, okay, a year, you're healed, you're a little better now, but it still hurts. Yeah, it still hurts to this day. And how I continue to stay focused is I know my husband wants me to continue to build the legacy that him and I started. And he loves the fact I got his name. So I know he would always say that, you a Hennix. So I still represent him. I got his name, and I know I'm making him really proud. So as long as I continue to press forward and do everything we planned, I know that makes him feel good. And I know that definitely is something that keeps me focused. So
yes. Wow. That is, lesson in itself to be able to share that type of connection with someone.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people can't say that.
Right.
So that's so special. Very special.
It really was, because we had both the personal, right, and the professional interests,
Right.
and my husband, he'd love to shoot. He will shoot all day long with that camera. He would be mad at me when I'm like, all right, it's been 2 hours, we've been shooting. You ready to go already? So, I had plenty of content, and things, but I just had to pivot. Matter of fact, I got so many pictures from him, I could still use that content. Some of the things I've actually been creating book trailers. I don't know if you've seen them or not. I have book video trailers that we've done videos, and we've had pictures and things, and I'll use some of his content in my book trailers to promote the book.
Okay. I don't think I've seen one. I guess I have to go to your page.
The videos, I'm going to start putting them on YouTube is what I need to do. I got to upload those. So,
okay. So I was going to mention, I know you also do Brown Sugar Radio.
Yes, that was my first love before coaching.
Oh, before coaching.
And it is still to this day. So I started Brown Sugar Radio. This is so funny. Do you remember that VH1 show called The Flavor of Love with Flavor Flav, and he was dating all those, trying to find the love?
Yes.
So hilarious. I was watching that, and I would tune in to the shows, and I happened to come across this online broadcast, and I was listening to the name of the show at the time, and the actual host would bring on the different contestants and people that were on the show. Now, mind you, back then, this was like 2004, 2003, I think, when it all started.
Mm-hmm.
The broadcast industry online was not as big as it is today. Like Blog Talk Radio was free. They didn't charge like they do now. I mean, just different platforms. It was not as big as it is today, the podcast industry. So when I discovered it, it was something new. And I would listen to her shows, and I would chat in the group and engage. Well, one day she asked me to come on live and help her host. And nobody had their real name. So I was like, okay, well, I better not expose who I am. So I looked at my hand and I said, Brown Sugar. Because I remember my grandmother used to always say, ooh, your skin is the color of brown sugar, baby. You got that brown sugar skin. So people would joke and say, is that your stripper name, honey? Listen, no, ma'am. We're not going to, no. The color of my skin, y'all, keep it clean. So, yeah. And I said brown sugar.
Okay.
And it's sugar, S-U-G-A, sugar, right? The country, sugar. So that's how my grandmother would pronounce it. And I started hosting with her, and it started growing and growing and growing to the part where her show got so big that I decided to branch off and start my own show, Brown Sugar Radio. And then that took off, and we started actually escalating, not only interviewing the cast members from VH1, But then we started interviewing celebrities, and we started interviewing. Yeah, it was amazing. Everyone from, I know Trey Songz, Trina, Yin Yang Twins, CeCe Peniston, Montel. I mean, just some huge heavy hitters during that time. And it was phenomenal. And so what ended up happening, and I had to take a break because I was getting burnt out. And you know how it is. I was broadcasting Tuesday and Thursday every single day. And I've learned about this word called seasons. Okay, seasons. You have to have seasons in your life for everything. Work, play, right? Sleep, awake. And I was just going hard back to back, and I got burnt out.
Okay.
So now I do my brown sugar radio in seasons. I'll broadcast maybe 8 shows, and then I'll take a 2-3 month, break. Then I'll come back, and then I'll take a break in season 2, season 3, season 4, because if you don't get that rest in between, you'll burn out.
Okay.
But definitely, yeah, I love it. And I'm back at it again. And I know I've had a few queens on the air. And once I became a coach, you grow. I changed the actual genre of my show. Back then it was more celebrity gossip, Hollywood, entertainment. Now it's more personal development and growth. I said, I'm changing, I'm growing now. I don't want to have all that Hollywood. I mean, don't get me wrong. We've had Anthony Hamilton was just on the show a few weeks ago, and SKG was on the show. So, I mean, I still do have celebrities, but that's not the main focus of the show anymore. And even with them, I want to ask questions that provoke my listeners to really reflect on who they are and how they can improve their own personal life.
Right. So, you know what? This is a good segue into your actual topic today, because I like to give the audience an opportunity to kind of get to know, who you are, how you started, what your motivations, were. And then I like to leave on an educational note, like practical tips and tools that they can take and start implementing right away. Like I said, personal, professional, leadership development, we're all at different stages,
Absolutely.
And even though we focus on entrepreneurs, but again, your personal life affects your professional life. So you can't grow you can't grow as a business person in an effective, productive way if you're not growing personally.
Right.
So it's all interchangeable. It's not like this is tucked away over here, this is tucked away over there, and they never meet. So the whole purpose is to be able to give people tools and techniques, right? Because again, you
Absolutely.
love personally, you're able to scale your business the way you want to and get the type of results that you are looking for.
Absolutely.
So with your particular topic, I believe it's crowned for abundant success.
That's it. Yes.
Right, but
you got it, girl. Yeah. Yep. That's it.
So talk to us about that. What's the takeaway?
So I'm really excited about Crown for Abundant Success, because this was actually one of my first speeches that I did when I was at an event, and it really rocked the audience because it teaches you the importance of wearing your crown. And those of you who are my ambitious women, my slogan is crown on, because every day I want you to visualize yourself wearing your crown of honor, your crown of grace, your crown of abundance, right? As I told you earlier, you have royal DNA flowing through your veins, queen. There's nothing small about you. And so when you have the opportunity to really shine, I want for you to remember that crown is also attached to that shine, to that brilliance. And never minimize your brilliance. That's what Crown for Abundant Success truly is about, how we downplay ourselves because we're ashamed of the shine. Don't be ashamed of the shine. Right. That's what you are anointed to do, right? And if you have friends around you that are making you feel that way, then I want to give you a word of advice. It's time to change your circle, queen, because true queens will shine right along with you. Okay. And so not only that, but Crown for Abundant Success, it teaches us about getting prepared. Preparation is what's going to take us to that next level of greatness. Success doesn't just fall in your lap. Every morning when you see the heavy hitters in their industry, right? When you see Beyonce doing her thing, Oprah Winfrey doing her thing. Even when you look at the gymnast, right? The Simone gymnast. What is her last name?
Biles.
Biles. I wanted to make sure I pronounced it properly. That took years of preparation. You don't just show up and be great.
Wasn't like poof.
Right. Success does not happen overnight. And so that's something that I really want to instill in the mind of our viewers today, is that prepare to be great. Right now, even though you don't have what it is you desire, I want you to act as if you already have it. That's when you're crowned for abundant success. And I threw abundant in there because it's time out on playing small, time out on thinking small and achieving small, because you'll get whatever it is you believe you deserve. Point blank. If you feel you'll never be a homeowner, guess what? You'll never be a homeowner. If you feel that you're not worthy of love and respect and honor, guess what? You're always going to be in that toxic relationship. Queen, and I don't know who I'm talking to today, but I just really want to inspire you to think, to work, and to live big. And that's what Crown for Abundant Success is truly about. Showing up unapologetically, not minimizing your brilliance, and just really dominating and reigning supreme as the queen that you were called to be. It is time for you right now to answer your call to queen if you haven't already, and just understanding and knowing your worth, because how you treat yourself is how others are going to treat you. So if you wake up in the morning sloppy, come on. If you wake up in the morning sloppy, just don't care, walk out, clothes wrinkled up, you know what I'm saying? And you don't care about, your appearance, or if you don't care about your progress in your business, no one else is going to. And how they look at you, first impressions are major. It can make or break a deal. You never know who's watching you. You never know who wants to sow into you. But if they're turned off immediately by that first impression, you better believe, queen, that might be the only opportunity you have with that person. I'm not saying period, because we do serve a merciful God. But why wait another 40 years in the wilderness when you can have access to your royal inheritance and riches today? Right? So I have a course that I'm actually doing this week. I launch it this Tuesday on the 17th, called Crown for Abundant Success. That's why I selected that title. And I'm teaching a group of entrepreneurial women, okay, and online influencers who desire more in life, and they're ready to say yes to them. To everyone else they've been saying yes to, but what about saying yes to you, queen? This is your time, right? They want to know what they can do to earn the 10K months. They want to know what they can do to manifest greatness. They want to know what they can do to have true girlfriends and sisterhood. That's what they're going to learn in the 3-day course, turning their dreams into reality and how to I large scales.
You know what? I wanted to let you finish because I don't want to interrupt. So I'm going to go back to the whole piece about being like afraid to, and these are my words, or the way I, took the information in that you shared. What do you think it is about us as women that we don't want to shine, or we want to downplay? Because I have a theory, but I want to know, what are your thoughts on that? Why do you? Because I'm sure you find that often, which is why you do what you do. So why do you think? What do you think the thought process is behind that?
Well, the last thing I should say, you just said the thought process. What happens is there are belief barriers that hinder us from excelling to the next level in our life. And with those barriers, what happens when you work with a mindset coach, such as myself, our job is to break those belief barriers. Most of us live in a box, and I want you to think outside the box. The other thing is the fear of failure. What if? You always hear, what if? What if? Yes. What if you made it? What if it succeeded? What if it worked? Change your thinking, right? The glass is not always half empty, it's half full, queen. The moment you shift your thinking, that is the first miracle, and people don't even realize it. Something that simple, because in the word it says, as a man thinketh, so he is. That is so powerful. You don't even realize.
Just that one concept, right?
Come,
That one shift.
come on. That one thing. As a man thinketh, your mind is a powerful tool. And how you choose to use your mind, you can use it for greatness or you can waste it away with lack. What are you going to do with your dash, queen? Your dash, your birth, and the time for you to go home. That dash has a lot of meaning and purpose to it if you change your thinking, right? That's where everything begins, in the mind, in the power of your mind. So that very first thing you said, the thought process has to be renewed. Okay, from lack to abundance.
Okay, so let me kind of intervene. So
Sure.
let's say someone out there, they're listening and they say, okay, I hear that, it makes sense, but how do I do that? How do I, because it's one thing to hear something,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but it's a different, it's a difference in terms of turning it into an
And
actionable
executing
step.
it. Right, absolutely. Which was my second thing I was going to tap into. So
Okay.
thank you for asking. No, you're good. That question is awesome. Because the second thing I was going to say, if you're struggling in this area to shift your mind on your own,
Mhm.
that's when I would recommend working with a mindset coach. There's some things that you're not, I don't want to say qualified, maybe more experienced in, but there's certain things on this earth that you will need assistance with. For example, I'm not a mechanic. I can't tell you two things how to fix what's underneath the hood of my vehicle. You hear me? I have enough wisdom to know I need to seek professional
You
help.
need to go see a mechanic.
A mechanic. Do you know queens don't realize that emotional health and your mental health is so important? Working with a mindset coach can help you in those areas if you are willing to be coachable. You have to be coachable. You can't go into the coaching sessions defiant. You have to
or
open your mind.
Yeah. Or like being a know-it-all. I'm
Right.
a therapist, so that's like people coming to get therapy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yet they know everything. And it's like,
Right.
if you do everything, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be, hitting these,
Exactly.
limiting yourself or hitting yourself up, hitting your head up against a brick wall. You
Right.
know,
What'd you hire me for if you know everything?
Hey,
Right.
but you know what? That's like going to the doctor, right? But you
Right.
already know what's wrong.
Self-diagnosing yourself.
Okay.
Right. Listen, it's something else. So
Okay.
yes,
So I'm sorry
working
to
with a
interrupt you.
coach
Go
or a
ahead.
therapist to help you break through those belief barriers. Hire help was number two. You gotta hire help, because there's just certain things that you just, like I said, that's not your area of expertise. That's not your calling, your anointing, whatever you want to call it. Okay. There's some people that just have that gift and that skill and that ability to take you from good to great.
And you know what?
Right.
There's so many self-help books out there, and people look up things online, which is
Mm-hmm.
fine, ladies, but if you do that and you realize you're still not where you want to be, then that's maybe a good indication that it's time to reach out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Reach out to someone that specializes in that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hire help.
Mhm.
Just that simple. Because there's things that the coach or the therapist will be able to see that they've been trained for, they have more experience in, or just that God will supernaturally deliver to their spirit. It's a spiritual download that will happen, right? And so you want to know, why is it Joseph was able to interpret dreams? That was his gift, right? So, don't question it, flow with it, and get help. That's what I say, to that. If you really are struggling in that area, yes, you could read a self-help book. Yes, you could, look at a YouTube video, but a coach can take you places that book can't or the video can't. You can get the deep inner work done. Questions answered the video can't explain or the book can't talk back and let you know. There's some things that we can evaluate and assess during your coaching sessions to really help you break through those belief barriers that are holding you back.
And sometimes, it not sometimes, it needs to be individualized, customized.
Absolutely.
Because
Right,
what
right.
works for me may not work for you, or it's not going to work for you
Absolutely.
9 times out of 10, right?
Absolutely, because what happens, you're right. The book is general, the video is general. You need something that is customized for your specific needs. And that's where a coach or a therapist would play in at, And I found most of my clients actually feel more comfortable coming to a coach, because sometimes they say, well, a therapist, I feel like something's wrong with me. But a coach, I just feel like, oh, okay, I got to see my coach. They're not embarrassed to tell their friends, I'm going to see my coach today. But like I told them, both of them are win-wins. It's all in what your personal preference is. I have seen a therapist, especially with all the trauma. One thing I will say, the difference between a coach and a therapist is that a coach, if you have heavy trauma in your life, that is not an area for a coach. Let me just keep it 100. Okay. I'm not in that area. That's not my area of expertise. If you have heavy life trauma that you're dealing with, you need to go see a therapist for that, because they can prescribe medications if you need that and different things, or they're able to do things on a medical level that coaches are not qualified to do. Okay. However, if it's just mindset work, shifting, transitioning your thoughts, I'm your girl for that. I got you. Okay. But for myself, I've worked with both. I've worked with a therapist, especially after that was a huge life trauma when my husband passed away.
Especially
and I've seen, yeah. Listen, he was there that morning and gone that afternoon. What? So, what happens is, I'm actually blessed to have worked with both coaches and therapists, and I see, like I say, the magnitude of life trauma. If it's something very severe, like what I have experienced myself, you need to see a therapist for certain deep rooted issues, okay, and life traumas. See a therapist. Okay. I'm gonna just be honest. So,
well, I'm kind of waiting a minute. I don't want to talk over her as a slight lag, but definitely I totally wholeheartedly agree. And I think sometimes, you know, we as women, we've, undergone these traumatic, backgrounds, whether it's child abuse, physical,
right.
verbal abuse, maybe
Yes.
spousal abuse,
All that, yes,
the
definitely.
molestation, rape, different things like that.
Okay.
And those are serious traumas. And
Yes.
personally, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a therapist,
Right.
but those types of things really need to be, handled in a clinical,
Yep.
type of setting.
That's
You know,
right.
because you'll find that once you clear that out,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be able to, take in what you need to take in to be able to, elevate your mindset.
Absolutely.
So yes,
Absolutely.
just something
Yes.
to think about. So we just
You're unpacking the pain is what
right.
the therapist is doing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the coach, what we're doing is we're helping you to look within yourself
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah.
discover a greater possibility, but you can't discover that until you've unpacked the pain.
Some of that baggage. Yep. Yep.
You
Because somebody
see?
won't be able to see it.
Yes.
It's gonna be hidden so far beneath,
And,
so
and there's nothing wrong. And I'm going to say this,
mhm.
queens, especially my Black queens, I want to talk to you. There is nothing wrong with going to therapy. Nothing. Don't be ashamed of it. You know, I look at that as another form of personal development and growth. And we're going to be continually learning and growing. If you really desire to elevate in life, you have to be open for growth. You have to be open to heal those areas in your life where the wound is still open at. Because you're not able to really truly execute from a place of power if you're still hurting and you have tons of pain that you're not working on or doing the personal work. I have been doing the personal work over the year. Am I where I want to be? I don't want to say yes or no, because honestly, this is God's time. This is God's story for my life. So I believe I'm where I need to be for right now. But am I healed completely? No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
But every day I'm doing the work.
Yes. And every day you showing up.
Showing up, grabbing my blessings, baby.
Yeah.
God sent it, I'm grabbing it.
Yeah. Like you say, some days better than others,
Right.
and that's expected. That's everybody. That's all of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but you have to, sometimes you have to feel it in order to
Yes.
move through it. Some people are like, oh, they just kind of want to tuck it away. It's going to keep popping up, so.
You cannot heal what you don't reveal.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. You cannot heal what you
You
don't
have
reveal.
to deal with that pain. Burying it, suppressing it is just going to make it worse. Because what's going to happen is you're going to keep it suppressed for so long. When that trigger arises again, you're going to end up exploding or not handling it in a responsible manner.
That's right. That's right. So, ladies, we're going to go ahead and get ready to conclude. So, Kim, I'll, turn it over to you. What do you want to leave the audience with? Any final words?
Absolutely. This is the year for you to take back your crown. 2020 was a year, yes, that blew all our crowns off, okay? Let me be clear. It was a year of testing. It was a year that was tragic. 2021 is the year of redemption. Take back your crowns, Queen. That's what I want to leave you with. You were not birthed for mediocrity. You were not birthed to play small. You have a great, big, abundant purpose. And the best is yet to come. You haven't even seen, what does it say? Eyes have not seen, ears have not heard all the greatness that he has for you. My favorite scripture is Ephesians 3:20, where God talks about blessing us exceedingly and abundantly above all we've ever thought for and hoped for and dreamed for. Of course, I'm paraphrasing it, but y'all know what I'm talking about. And I just feel that it's important for us as queens right now to show up. Show up. When you show up, God will show out. He will show out. Thank you once again, Queen Jacqueline. I love you so much. I appreciate you allowing me to share and pour into the queens that are paying attention. And if we got some kings watching, look, we're going to show love for you too. All right. You might have got a golden nugget you can apply to your life, and we appreciate that. But this really does truly mean a lot to me that you selected me. You could have selected any other queen out there, and you chose me. So I am so forever humble and grateful. Thank you.
You are most welcome, and I'm glad yes, I selected you, and I'm glad you said yes to come on and to be able to pour into to everybody, like you said, the queens and the kings, because these are life lessons.
Absolutely.
I gear everything towards women entrepreneurs, but these are life lessons for anybody, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're male or female. But thank you so much for joining us today for A Queens Roundtable Show. And again, we are here every Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm your host, Jacqueline Kabah Harrison. If you are an entrepreneur and you want to pour into your audience, my audience, and those other audiences out there, all those other entrepreneurs, that they can benefit from you, what you have to say personally, professionally, or leadership development wise, to help them scale up in their personal life as well as their professional life, I would love to have you on the show. There is a link. It says apply to be a guest on the show. Click on that and let's do it. Let's talk. Let's make it happen. All right. So thank you again. And until next Sunday, everyone have a wonderful week. And thank you again for joining us today for this episode of A Queen's Roundtable Show. All right, everybody. Until next time.